Hey there, movie fans. I was tagged by my good friend Jeff, aka 101 Bronson, and this is my video where I have to choose a favorite movie in 10 different genres. And I know I'm a bit too late with this. Most of you have already done this a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, it wasn't easy because I have lots and lots of favorites, of course, not just one. But I managed to make my choices. And I do have to say that if I had to do this video a week later or a month later, some of these choices would have been different. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, beginning with my favorite action movie, and this is a no-brainer because this has been my favorite action movie ever since I first saw it when I was 10, 11 years old, and it is Die Hard. I mean, this is the one that reinvented the action genre. It changed the action movie for good, and it created a new subgenre, one guy against a group of terrorists in one location, and there are countless and countless of rip-offs that came after this one, and it's still very influential to this day. So Die Hard, my favorite action movie. Next is my favorite romantic movie, and I really had to think about this because romance is not one of my favorite genres. So I looked around my movie room and there was one film that caught my eye, and I was like, of course, makes total sense. Casablanca, the mother of all cinematic love stories. It doesn't get any more romantic than this, doesn't it? And spoiler alert, they don't get each other at the end. And you want them to be together. They want to be together, but in the end, fate decide otherwise. I mean, isn't that what a good love story ought to be, where they don't get each other? Well, it is in my opinion. So this is my favorite romantic film of all time, Casablanca. For my favorite comedy film, I have decided to go for a Chaplin title, and as you can see, this is my complete Chaplin collection here in this little dark section of my glass cabinet. Sorry for the glare, by the way, and for the darkness, but I hope you can see it properly. But anyway, I have decided to go for this film, The Circus. This is the one that made me laugh the most. Of all the Chaplin films, I had the best time with The Circus. And to me, it's also his most underrated film, and it's deserves to be up there with his most famous works like City Lights and The Great Dictator, Modern Times, The Gold Rush, all those great films. So yeah, that's my favorite comedy, The Circus by Charlie Chaplin. My favorite comic book movie does not have any of these characters. In fact, there is not one superhero in it. It is Sin City. Not only my favorite comic book movie, but in my opinion is also the best comic book movie and the most faithful comic book movie of all time. My favorite adventure movie is a no-brainer as well, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark. What can I say? It has all of the elements of a great, fun, entertaining adventure movie. And I've seen it countless of times, and it never gets boring. I could also choose Temple of Doom, which has a special place in my heart because it's the first Indiana Jones movie that I've ever seen. And I could also choose Last Crusade and Kingdom of the well, let's not talk about that one. But Raiders, yeah, that is it for me when it comes to my favorite adventure movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, this could have been my favorite adventure film as well, but I have decided to make this my favorite drama, Lawrence of Arabia. Now, this is such an amazing film, and it's also, in general, my second favorite film of all time. My first one is, of course, Once Upon a Time in the West. And, many people has asked me if I could do a top 10 of favorite films. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I just cannot do that. But I can do a top 2. So, the first one is Once Upon a Time in the West, and the second one is Lawrence of Arabia. But sometimes, Lawrence of Arabia is my number one. Sometimes. But, yeah, and everything about this film is top notch. You know, the cinematography, the direction by David Lean, the acting, especially by Peter O'Toole, who's absolutely outstanding. But also Omar Sharif and Anthony Quinn, Jack Hawkins, Arthur Kennedy, Alec Guinness. You know, they're all outstanding in this film. So, yeah, it's such an amazing film. And also, of course, I almost forgot, the great score by Maurice Jarre, which I have here on a CD soundtrack. But, yeah, such an amazing film. Lawrence of Arabia. Definitely my favorite drama. My favorite horror film. I could easily pick one of these films. Well, not exactly. And I could also choose The Exorcist and The Shining and A Nightmare on Elm Street and John Carpenter's The Thing and other John Carpenter films as well. But the one that has always been my favorite horror film is this one, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It is as disturbing and brutal and relentless and effective as it was the first time it came out in 1974. And it's like the Die Hard of horror films, which sounds very strange, but what I mean by that is that it's still very much influential to this day. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite horror film of all time. My favorite science fiction movie. This was a hard one. This was the most difficult of them all. And to be honest, I still haven't figured it out yet. But I have to choose one, and which is not easy, because this is definitely one of my favorites. The original RoboCop. You can see my little collection there. Not RoboCop 2. I did enjoy it, but it's not one of my favorites. But the original one is, the first two Alien films is also two of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies. A Trip to the Moon, you can see it right there. Inception, it is some sort of sci-fi movie in my opinion. Star Trek, Mad Max Fury Road, and also the early Mad Max films, specifically Part 2, The Road Warrior. Damn, man. It is so difficult. This one as well. Here it is, my Metropolis. Oh, sorry for the glare, but this is my Metropolis set. Fritz Lang's classic, also a favorite of mine. And of course, Star Wars. The original Star Wars. Any of the original Star Wars films. Mainly Empire Strikes Back. I could also choose Predator and Terminator and Terminator 2 and Back to the Future right there, or Blade Runner. I mean, it's really, really difficult, but I've decided to choose 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, which is a milestone in sci-fi history. But again, it's very difficult to get. You know, there are lots of great. Ooh, sorry about that. Lots of great sci-fi movies out there, but if I had to pick one, as if my life depends on it, this would be it. 2001: A Space Odyssey. My favorite Western. Need I say more? But I'm going to do this a little differently. You know, Once Upon a Time in the West is my favorite Italian Western or European Western, but my favorite American Western. I really had to think about that one, because I could easily pick Johnny Guitar or The Professionals, or even Quickly Down Under, or this one, Vera Cruz, or any of the John Wayne films here, you know, The Searchers, Stagecoach, Fort Apache, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, The Shootist. But I have decided to choose, no, not that one, this one. The Wild Bunch, Sam Peckinpah's magnum opus. And it's also my favorite film about friendship. You know, these guys, in the end, they're going to risk their own lives to save a friend from the Mexican army. I mean, that's true friendship right there. So, yeah, this would definitely be my favorite American Western, The Wild Bunch. Now, this was a hard one as well, my favorite animation movie. I was thinking of Disney classics and Pixar movies and different anime, you know, like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, or any of the Studio Ghibli films. But I've decided to choose this one as my favorite one, Blood, the Last Vampire. A short anime, you know, it's not even an hour long. I believe it's let me see here. This is the Japanese box set, by the way, DVD box set, will to come with the screenplay. And I've put the Dutch DVD in there myself, but it's 54 minutes long, so it's not very long, but it's such a gorgeous looking anime. And yeah, definitely one of my favorites. You know, tomorrow I might choose a different animation. So, you know, like I said, it was hard, but for now I would pick Blood, the Last Vampire as my favorite animation movie. And those are my choices. Now I like to tag 5 people myself. By the way, if you're already tagged, I do apologize for that. I didn't know. But anyway, I like to tag Brian, aka Nready, Ramon, aka the Dutch Film Buff, Grindhouse Funhouse, and finally my favorite couple on YouTube, Dave and Jilly, the Forbidden Horror Channel, and Jilly Rocks the Metal. That is, of course, if you have time to do your own tag video, or if you want to do your own tag video. Of course, you know, I'm not forcing you to do it, but well, those are my tags anyway. Yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my choices, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, that is it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.